Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the reading for Virgo. This is going to be for December. Energies are riding high today. And we're going to take a look at what your love life is going to look like this December period, what the outlook is, my lovely Virgo. This could be for Virgos who are single, looking for love, right? Or those who are in a relationship calling in love. Whatever your outlook on love relationships is in December, we're going to take a look at it. All right, guys? Now, if your love life is being impacted by family issues or by career issues, then that's going to come out, okay? So we'll see. And of course, we know that this reading can't possibly be for all Virgos. So please just take what applies to you and enjoy disregarding the rest. If you hear my cat in the background, I do apologize in advance. She does tend to get a little bit freaked out during these readings, and oh well. 3 of Swords. Ooh, Virgo, covered by a 10 of Swords. All right, the Sun is coming out for you, though. Very nice. In the back of your mind, though, you have a 5 of Pentacles energy. You come into this month with a lot of strife, 5 of Wands, Virgo, and you leave this month with judgment, letting go. Your attitude towards love this month is Hierophant energy. You're met with the world. Your hopes and dreams and your fears are 4 of Pentacles, and the outcome is Empress energy. Okay, she's back, the Empress. All right, and at the bottom of the deck, we have another 10. 10 of Wands. Wow. All right. Let's get right into it. Okay. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. So let's just start with this 10 of Wands straight out. And we have the Ace of Cups underneath. That's a good sign. 10 of Wands talks about finally coming to a completion and being able to lay down your burdens. Oppression. Things have become too oppressive. Problems have become too much, right? The energies are too much. The oppression is too much, and you're sick of really... 10 of Wands really talks about being tired of struggling, being tired of having obstacles in your way, being blocked, carrying around baggage, right? Tired of carrying around baggage. It's been exhausting, and now you're finally done with it, Virgo. This is actually very good energy in a lot of ways. This is certainly going to be a month of completion. Well, Virgo, let's get right into it. What do we have here? We have the 3 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. And of course, some of you have had enough of lying, cheating, disloyalty. 3 of Swords is a heartbreak, but it's a heartbreak because someone has broken the trust. 3 is the number for bonding and loyalty, and this is a Swords card. Oftentimes it is interpreted as a cup card almost, but it's not. And a lot of times this is interpreted as third-party energy or somebody cheating on you, but the essence of 3 of Swords is a little deeper than that. Here we talk about someone who's hurt your heart because of the way they have treated you or the way they have spoken to you. And it's this feeling of not only being hurt because someone has been deceptive or untrue or disloyal, but it's a feeling of someone having tried to get over on you, of having someone trying to insult your intelligence or play you for a fool. And this is really the essence of the heartbreak with the 3 of Swords, because it's a Swords card. It's a blow to our ego more than anything. And this is how you feel. You've really had enough, Virgo. 10 of Swords as well is letting you know that you've had enough of this, because it is a 10 of Swords. It is the end of a stage in your life where you've really gone through a lot of turmoil. You've gone through a lot of knocks down. Different than a 10 of Wands. Let me just show you the difference between these two energies. They're both completion. They're both 10s. Right? And they both talk about the end of a very difficult period. Swords and Wands can be difficult cards. But with 10 of Swords, we're talking about the end of the old ego. You've taken so many knocks and so many scrapes and so many times you've been knocked down and picked up that you're not the same person anymore. Not only are you not the same person anymore, but you're done with it. This stage of your life where you've been going through this constant sort of difficulties, I want to say, is dead, it's over. Just like all tens, it's completion. But what comes out of Ten of Swords is a new you. It's the death of the old you to make way for the new you. This is the ego. This form, this body there is representative of the old ego. And what rises out of this Ten of Swords period when you're done with this stage of your life is a new you. And the new you can't be hurt by the same swords anymore. This is, again, a completion in the sense that what used to hurt you before can't hurt you anymore because you have resonated higher. You've evolved out of this very difficult stage. Now, Ten of Wands is also an ending to a period of difficulty. But with Ten of Wands, we're talking more about the burdens that we've carried with us. Ten of Wands, these wands are representative of all of the little burdens, all of the little baggage that we've collected after a period of oppressive sort of experience, of an oppressive experience, right? Here we're talking about baggage can be self-esteem issues, negative self-image, right? Self-confidence issues, dysfunctionalities or toxic things, toxic opinions and ideas that you carry around about yourself as a result of the burdens that you've had to carry, or perhaps as a result of some of the traumas that you've been through. And so with Ten of Wands, we're talking very much about a laying down of burden, whereas Ten of Wands, we're talking about the end of a period in your life where you no longer have to suffer. Okay? Completion all the way around. In a lot of ways, Virgo, this is a very, very powerful reading because when I look ahead, I see the Empress for you, which is very strong, of course, associated with your sister sign, Taurus. Now let's get right into your conscious and unconscious. In your conscious mind, you have the Sun, and in your unconscious position, you have the Five of Pentacles. And this heartbreak that you went through here had to do with money and power. The Sun comes out, and so in December, you feel good again. Why? Because you're at the end of it. You've laid it down. Some of you have ended a relationship with somebody that has been so oppressive and difficult. And coming out of this relationship with the Sun energy, it's just like, oh, thank God I'm free. It's freedom. Really, it's freedom in a lot of ways. Confirmation comes in. Self-confidence comes in. In the back of your mind, you have a Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is a power struggle. We have another five here, the Major Arcana Hierophant, which is also the five. But five is associated with power struggles. And in power struggles, with this power struggle, we have someone who has hurt you in such a way. You had sort of a split, right? An argument, a split. You've been sort of ostracized from whatever group you were in and sort of turned out into the cold. It's very symbolic of a power struggle that has left you financially worse off, having to pay the price financially, or having to start all over again. Right? Five of Pentacles is when you break up and, you know, suddenly you have to move or they have to move, or, you know, you may have been married and now you're divorced and you're having to deal with a lot of financial pressures as a result of it. It's a heartbreak. It's a power struggle that ends in you really having to sort of rebuild your life in a lot of ways. Now, oftentimes, Five of Pentacles will happen in a situation that was inevitable. This was not something that you could have perhaps fixed or that you wouldn't have suffered under. Inevitably, this connection would have come down to this. And oftentimes, Five of Pentacles events make way for a better connection later on. Now, the energy you come into the month with and the energy you leave the month with is very interesting. Again, it shows me that you are evolving this month. This is a great month of blessings in a spiritual way. Because you come into the month with a Five of Wands, which is, again, more power struggle. This is now the third five that we have in the reading. 2 tens and 3 fives. Another power struggle, but with Five of Wands, we talk about a power struggle with people who want to be on top. I'm better than you. No, you know, I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. This is a real struggle of egos. It's a struggle of opinions, and everybody wants to be right, and there's bickering and arguing. This is the energy that you come into the month with, but it's during this month that you lay it all down, okay? So you've had enough. Virgo. I think this is finally the final straw. It could very well be that the bickering and arguing in a particular relationship has gone too much, too far, and you're done. Absolutely done. You come out of the month with Judgment. And the Judgment card, if anything, talks about releasing judgment, releasing hypercriticism. You know, if you've been hypercritical in a situation, or if you've been over judgmental, judgment comes in to show us how to look at a situation from all sides and begin to increase our empathy for others, and really release a lot of guilt that we hold for ourselves. You know, oftentimes people who are very, very critical or judgmental of others are equally so of themselves, and they really suffer from a lot of misplaced guilt. Their attempt to transfer that onto other people oftentimes causes a lot of difficulty because it seems to come from no place, you know. So when we talk about when we talk about learning to forgive and learning to see from different sides, the first step is forgiving ourselves, right? The first step is not being so critical of ourselves. I mean, as with anything, the lessons always begin at home. And you can't really begin to understand other people and understand that they are human and that they have their own point of view until you can learn to forgive yourself for your own sort of shortcomings that you may have or may not have been hypercritical of. Interestingly enough, you leave this horrible dynamic of arguing and bickering, you take the high road. It's really strong, beautiful, positive energy, Virgo. You take the high road. The sun has come in to affirm that you are in the right place, that you are loved, that everything is all right, that you are not to blame for any of this. And it's through this understanding that not only do you release any extra misplaced guilt for yourself, but you learn to forgive those in this situation, because, you know, when you realize that you're dealing with somebody who's hurt you in some kind of way, right? When you actually learn to rise above that, and when you actually learn, or you have this feeling inside of yourself, we would truly have this feeling that, hang on a second, this is not my fault. This person's actions have to do with their own dysfunctionality, their own toxicity. This is not my fault, and this is not something that I deserve. Judgment and forgiveness in a way comes in, but more than anything, it's almost as if you begin to feel sorry for this individual. Because, you know, sorry, that's my cat. She starts to get a little wacky during the readings. You start to almost feel sorry for this individual because your future is so bright, because you know that, you know how to be functional, you know how to be healthy, and you know it's not your fault. And no, almost all the time, usually when this happens as well, you will find that you end up feeling sorry for the individual who caused you pain, because you know you're moving on to a better place, but their lives will only continue to be more pain. They will only continue to move into another relationship that they fuck up, you know, and ultimately they're only hurting themselves. This is a real sort of resonating up. This is a real spiritual maturity that you're gaining this month with the sun and Judgment, with this clarity that comes in, strong clarity. Now you come into this month with an attitude of the Hierophant, and you met with the World. So you double down on your commitment to your higher self. You double down to your spiritual calling, moral center, to your ethics, right? And again, this all comes out of finally realizing you've had enough suffering, laying down your own toxicity and baggage, and really forgiving yourself. And so what happens is, like, you get a boost in your confidence, and the World comes in to let you know that this is exactly where you need to be, Virgo. You are where you need to be on your path. You are learning life lessons, right? And more than anything, I think that you come into this month with a feeling of really wanting to be true to your higher self. Be true to your spiritual center, whatever that is. The Hierophant talks about commitment. The highest form of commitment we can have is a commitment to our spiritual beliefs, right? Ultimate commitment to our spiritual beliefs is very difficult, but it is the path right? It's the path to sort of resonating higher. It's the path to ultimate enlightenment, right? And it's a very hard thing to do. This is why oftentimes the Hierophant is looked at as someone who wants to, when this card comes in, it's oftentimes interpreted as someone who wants to make a commitment in their relationships, but it's deeper than that. It's a commitment to a type of relationship or a way of interacting that is in line with your spiritual beliefs, your moral code, right? Very, very strong, very powerful. And again, a lesson, a learning, a lesson. I think for some of you, you realize that this connection, you had really compromised a lot of yourself for this connection. And of course, now that it did turn out to be quite toxic, you're showing some incredible strength to finally move on from it, to decide that you don't want toxicity, and to decide that a relationship simply has to be in line with what your moral center is. Now, your hopes and dreams and your fears, Four of Pentacles. So this position that you're dealing with, I think a lot of you this month, you are dealing with the backlash of the breakup of this or the split that occurs in this dynamic because of the money. You feel certainly like your finances are being threatened. Four of Pentacles talks about, you know, feeling that the stability of your finances are threatened. So oftentimes this individual comes across as miserly or greedy. But more than anything, it's a desperate attempt to sort of maintain your financial stability. And I think right now, more than anything, Virgo, a lot of you who are coming out of this toxic relationship are really just trying to rebuild and trying to step your financial game back up to where you need it to be as a result of all of this damage this relationship has done. You come out of this month with Empress energy in the sense that you're sitting pretty, Virgo. You're sitting beautiful, you're sitting pretty, and by the end of the month, you will have solved a lot of these financial issues. Remember, Four of Pentacles is just a fear. It's a fear that your finances are being threatened. It's not necessarily indicative of reality, and I think that fear really gets vanquished because things begin to come in. Remember, December is a month of spiritual and financial blessings for everyone, really. And so you end this month feeling beautiful, feeling in control, feeling, you know, vibrant and vital, and very much realizing that the most important thing, right, is to make sure that you are being nurtured, right? To make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you are fertilizing your creative grounds, and that you're maintaining that so that when your true soulmate comes in, you're in a healthy place. I think for some of you, this relationship was a relationship that really was very oppressive. You may have been in a relationship also that really didn't make you feel very pretty about yourself or attractive. You may have really taken a lot of self-esteem knocks in this dynamic because, of course, Three of Swords is very toxic energy. But you get all of that back, right? You get all of that back. All right, let's pull some clarifiers. This is pretty straight to the point, Virgo. Some of you are ending a fucked up toxic relationship with somebody who's done nothing but really treat you badly. Remember, Three of Swords is a communication card. So you're hurt. Someone is hurting you with the way they talk to you as well. It could be that you're just dealing with somebody, they don't know how to talk to you. You know, not only are they sort of being deceptive and may actually be cheating, but it's just the fact that they treat you like a piece of shit. They don't talk to you with the right respect. And all of that, you just feel like, nah, you know, I'm done. You know, it's like, I'm the Empress. I deserve respect. And it's like, just making that decision to come out of this toxic relationship really resonates you quite strongly up. You know, you resonate up very strong because you're making an intentional step for your own sort of well-being and progress, right? You're not continuing to stay in a toxic connection because you just can't let go. You can absolutely let go. And I'm going to tell you something. This is done and over. I think for some of you Virgos, you don't look back. This is not a case of just breaking up and jumping into the next fucked up relationship. This is a case of you really learning that, you know, there's certain values and certain characteristics people have that you're just not going to put up with anymore. And your litmus test for that is your spiritual center here. I think you move forward into the world knowing that from now on, you're going to be holding people, or at least people who want to get close to you in a relationship or in a love connection, you're going to be holding them up to a higher, like, sort of level or standard, you know. And that standard has to be one that's in line with who you are. You may have been dating, you might be a church Christian, right? A good, you know, American Christian or whatever country you come from, and you were dating somebody who didn't have the same Christian values, and so now you double down and you say, no, I'm not going to go for that. The next person I date or the next person I'm with is going to have to at least share my values, right? And I think that this is another thing that you realize in this connection, that one of the reasons this connection was so toxic was because you guys were really on two different pages in a lot of ways with what your spiritual or your moral center or code is, or standard, right? And so again, for some of you, you realize that, you know, your spiritual beliefs, your moral center, this is all something that should also help you to discern the correct partner, right? You have a lot to give, you have a lot to offer, and the right person needs to be able to live up to your standards, and so that you are not compromising who you are. Let's get the clarifiers out, my lovely Virgos. Five of Swords, more fives, and there's another Five of Cups. So now we have all of the fives almost represented. Yeah, we have all four fives represented. Power struggle and a half. Knight of Wands and Three of Wands, and there's your other three. Two of Cups, bottom of the deck. Now, Two of Cups just showed up also for the Aquarius reading in the same position. Again, this is a desire to have a balanced connection with somebody with mutual respect, right? Mutual respect, where the love pours into you just as much as you are pouring love into them. A true union of love, of coming together, right? All right, we have the Five of Swords. Again, another five. Huge power struggles, Virgo. You are getting over huge power struggles. Five of Swords talks about realizing that in order to maintain this relationship, you would have to lower yourself to their standard. Could very well be that enough toxicity or difficulties have happened here that you're realizing that if you continue on, you're going to be as fucked up and as toxic as this person is. And so you throw your hands up and you say, you know what? You win. You win. It's a hollow victory for them, but you decide to say you win because in the sense that if you want it, you can have it. I'd rather be who I am and admit defeat in this situation than to continue on bickering and arguing with you and ultimately become the same toxic individual that you are. Five of Cups. Five of Pentacles. Disappointment. They broke your heart. They really disappointed you. This is going to be a connection with someone. You may have thought that they would never go there with you. You may have thought that this, you know, of all the things that they would never do, you may have thought that they would never sort of try to fuck you over financially, but indeed they have. And so this is one of the things, this is one of the real disappointments. But of course, Five of Cups does talk about that in all disappointments, there is a possibility for transformation with that butterfly that you see in the root system there, okay? And so we're talking about you really realizing that, yeah, this was horrible and traumatic, and this was very, very difficult, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I need to pick myself up and get myself back to where I was financially, right? And lift my head and move forward. However, this was definitely a heartbreak. In a lot of ways, you know, I think you feel extremely betrayed by this person. And I think this level of betrayal is one of the reasons why you are so insistent on moving on and saying, hang on a second, I simply can't allow myself to continue to be disrespected like that. I have my dignity, you know. When you have dignity and you have healthy pride, you simply cannot... You know, you just can't stand to be in a situation where somebody is stepping all over your self-esteem and kicking you in your, you know, kicking you when you're down, trying to purposely set you up or fuck you over. Knight of Wands comes in over that Five of Wands. And so, yeah, you decide to move forward from the bickering. You have so much ambition in your life and you have so many good things working out for you in a lot of ways that you realize it's time to really leave this arguing behind. The only thing that it does is it brings you down and takes you off your path. Knight of Wands talks about coming in. Could very well be that some of you, Virgo, some of you may have someone coming into your life this beginning December that really helps you move away from all of this. Knight of Wands can really be... you know, the Knight of Wands is the same as the King of Wands, right? We're talking about the Thoth deck. So in the traditional deck, the Knight of Wands in the Thoth deck is the King of Wands in the traditional deck. And it's really taking a leadership role and showing you that, you know, you don't have to put up with this. Let me show you where you could be at. Or let me, you know, I feel strongly that this may indeed be an individual, a person who is a friend or a family member. It could be somebody new or somebody you already know, but they're really coming in to show you the way for you to go and to show you that you don't have to put up with this. And this is going to very strongly be someone who really helps you with your confidence and your motivation to get this completion done. Judgment comes in over Three of Wands, and 3 again, bonding, loyalty, virtue. Sun in Aries. Here we're talking about patience. Patience is a virtue, and 3 of Wands is the card for patience also. Here we talk about allowing things to unfold naturally, and I think a lot of this judgment and release of over hypercriticism and release of judgmentality that you've held on to or that others have put you through, you're being kind of, let me put it to you this way. This lesson that's coming in is really unfolding in a very natural way. It's not like you're doing anything. 3 of Wands comes in where we're kind of forced to hold on for a second before we make any more decisions, right? We're kind of forced to put the brakes on and to see what's going on around us and allow some things to unfold naturally so that we can make our next step. And again, I think you leave this period with that sense. You leave this December period with that sense of kind of like understanding that life will take care of you if you make the right decisions, but sometimes you'll just have to let life work it out, right? You've released any of the guilt that may have held you in this situation, and I think this 3 of Wands is going to show you a lot of things. This waiting period during December, and I'm going to say this is probably going to be towards the end of December, where you're kind of forced to hold on a second before you make any hasty decisions, because there's going to be a lot of information that comes in that's going to help you. 3 of Wands often talks about having patience and having to wait for something else to catch up with you. Something is coming into your life, but it's not at the same speed that you're moving at. So you're having to wait or to slow down to give this thing, information, person, whatever it is, time to come in and to be a part of your life before you move forward, because it's an integral part of the next step of your life. All right, guys, I'm going to call it. This is a short one compared to the other readings, but this is really straightforward, Virgo. Strong energy, strong forgiveness. Definitely somebody coming in December who's going to be sort of your cheerleader, your confidant, the person who's going to give you a lot of energy to get over this situation. These energies are all associated with getting you to this Empress. And the Empress is a beautiful, beautiful position to be at by the end of December, because you are exactly who you want to be now. You know, Empress also talks about radiating that beautiful energy you have on the inside, radiating it on the outside, so your environment and your relationships and everything around you is very representative of who you are. You know, when we are in a relationship or an environment that isn't conducive to who we are, or that isn't in line with who we are, then oftentimes we can't shine. We can't luxuriate, right? And so you have a lot of this, Virgo here, certainly is resonating with this. You have a lot of beautiful qualities inside of you. And I think that for a long time dealing with this toxic energy, you may have not felt so confident, not felt so good about yourself. You look around you and everything you're surrounded by is just not who you are. But by the end of this month, you very much your life, your connections, your relationships, your environment really begins to mirror who you truly are, and you feel absolutely wonderful about it. All right, guys, this is it, Virgo. If you resonated with this, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget, I do private readings. You can go to the link at the top of your screen. I also do question and answers. You can send me a question, and I do a 15-minute spread answer to that question. Those are only $25. But for the most part, if you have any kind of situation, you want to get a deeper look into it, it's always best to get a private reading, whether it's from me or from another trusted tarot reader. But for right now, Virgo, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a really good reading for a Virgo who's coming out of a very difficult period, but you are coming out of it on fire. You are coming out of it strong and beautiful and where you should be. All right, guys? But for right now, I'm just going to say have a wonderful December. And don't forget to check me out mid-December for the mid-month love check-in. Bye-bye now.